Go. That'll get us going. We are in. So, like I say, you can fucking say what you want.
All right. We probably will.
All right. So, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Fly on the Wall, number 11. We have been doing this for a while. And we are joined once again by Ross Park, the founder and general
co-owner
and torture master general of programming.
That's some title on it. Lovely, mate. I don't know about that one, guys. I'm getting the impression he's never liked you, Ross.
No, I know. But you're not the most important person today.
No, not at all.
Because the most important person in the room today is, of course, Gaz Mac, the infamous Gaz Mac tattoo artist. You might have seen his graffiti all over, or in here, more noticeably in here. So we've got the man himself. So, guys, how the fuck are you?
I'm good. I'm very good, in fact. I'm busy. Lockdown's been a blast.
I was going to say, have you had a nice plague? Have you had a nice time?
It's been good. I think the first thing I done in lockdown was do this place. It was. So, you know. A fine job you did as well.
Thank you.
Say that again, Ross.
To be fair, man, a lot of the members have been talking about it. A lot of members come in and that's the first thing they notice because it was such a drastic change from the grey.
I've been banging on it for how long? Guys, come on. All I said to Ross was, paint it black, it hides a million things, Ross.
It's an easier job than not paint it black. So I guess like that's as good a place as any to start. Like where did you guys, like how did Gaz come into your life and how did Ross barge into yours? Was it at SWG3, I guess, because that's your setup, isn't it?
This melee mob showed up on the first floor at the back. I think we had that bit with all the holes in the windows and all that. Bisqueen windows and things like that, you know, and we were flinging tyres about and all sorts. Muttley tried to charge him a fortune for an empty space as usual, you know. But big tractor tyres in the lift. I know. That's when I met you in the lift, wasn't it? I was doing my general manager at the time, and it's like, what the fuck's this rope doing here? What are we doing with rope? You know, it's like, it was a lot of that going on, and then my studio was always directly up the stairway. I don't know if you knew that. And I was doing a lot of sort of commission work at that time. And every now and again you would just hear this thump, 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 thump. And you get down the stair, Ross is pushing this big tractor tyre across the place.
Sounds like you.
But no, it was a welcome thing, man. It was good when it was good. We had a good fun down there, man. It was good while it lasted, and ultimately led to this place getting open. So.
How long ago was that? That was Evo Fit, wasn't it?
That was 42 years ago.
Feels like that.
It does.
So 6 years ago, you were down at SWG.
Must have been at least maybe 7 years ago now, guys. I think so.
Down there in like a disused gig venue, which is very fitting for you actually, like a gig venue. Because I remember I trained there. Like that's where I met you. That's when I met you actually.
Did you train?
That's the first time I met him in there. Because
you're the guy I barred.
I think he's the guy you battled, probably. But I turned up because a mutual friend Dom, like who I know, he dominated your gym down there, and I turned up, and I thought this the other day. Actually, it's so weird because the first class I did there was an odd number. So I was like, I'll just do it myself. And then the hype beast, Ross Park, was like, no, I'll do it with you. And fucking jacked in it. And I'm like, oh, no. And he's like, I got
2 minutes and I'm breathing at Mars.
What a 2 minutes, though. But that's what most members here say is, like, when they're working with like Ross or one of the coaches jumps into the workout, they're like, usually when you're training with a member who's on the same level as you get a kind of rest time between sets. I didn't get any rest time because he was like done before I even like put the weight down, and he'd done his whole set, and I was, this guy's an animal.
But when I first seen it, I'd never seen anything like it. You know,
the classes you mean, like the circuit classes?
I'd never seen anything like that, and I think Muttley tried them a few times, didn't he? I trained them for a wee minute. Yeah, came out a shadow of a man, you know. I did warm him, you know. So, but
So
that's when we first get chatting.
And then you came in here and you did this. You did the new setup.
So like, you're responsible for the fly and the bug, to do with the rebranding as well.
Yep. So I guess what I want to know is like, why Gaz and why this? Like, why this aesthetic?
He's the best, isn't he?
Oh, obviously. But like,
I knew him, and then obviously seen his work at, at SWG3.
I think it goes hand in hand with that no smoking mirrors, Jim.
Aye.
And I know you well enough to say that, Ross, that not in a bad way, that I think it does go hand in hand, that sort of edgy street thing,
that's exactly
no
it.
spit and polish or anything.
Aye.
And that I think we got that for the start with each other.
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
So I guess, guys, that's a question I wanted to ask for you. Like, you as an artist, when you came in here to do this, or when you work on any project, do you think there's a level of like knowing the client and knowing the personality of the place?
Absolutely. It's good to build a rapport up with a client straight away. There's so many jobs I go into, it's just no there. It's dry, and you get in and you go in there, everything is
to polished. Make it more difficult then, obviously, when if you meet somebody, you get a bit more an understanding what they're wanting. It brings more out of you as an artist, I'm sure.
Yeah. It stops you going back and having to change it as well as an artist, because maybe they've got an Apple Mac and they think they're a designer.
That's me.
I was going to say that, Dan, but I didn't want
We're all pals here, guys. No, because that's really interesting, because your art is tangible. That is a reflection of it's a thing, like we see it on the walls and stuff here. It's not like what I would do as an actor. Like, I would do a performance, but it would exist in someone else's head or in someone else's memory. Like, you see that every day you come in here, and it is so iconic. So is that what kind of lends you to have that mural there, like the actual insect and the bug on it?
I think the fly.
You mentioned that a few years before we actually did it. You said that.
I mentioned the fly to them, and they were all, fly, you can't do a fly in the wall. You
hated the
idea. I hated it, guys. I'm sorry, man.
You can't do that.
Can he put a bug on the wall? But then when I saw it, when I came in,
think of the strength of a fly as well, and stuff like that.
Like, pound for pound, man, it's up there for sure. But I remember when I first came in, because this is kind of leading on from the question that I'm asking, is like, when I saw that finish, because I came in every day when you were in here doing some behind the scenes stuff, and I saw this gradually change and grow. And then the first day I came in and saw the whole black, and then the old grey, because that colour in the background is what the gym used to be. And then the bug over it, I genuinely couldn't speak. I was just like, I stared at it for like a minute and a minute is a long time when you're not fucking speaking, when you're just thinking and looking at the one thing. Like, that's really cool. And it looks like it's on it, and because we talked a lot about the wings and stuff as well, like how you had to go and make the wings almost like translucent, and how that was.
You've got paint them white first, and then put shades in after that to make it look translucent. It's not as if I'm using transparent paint there. People actually think that.
Really?
But you paint the one colour and then you paint layers and things like that.
So the bug itself, was that how did you come around to the idea of doing that, like that mural specifically, and the mural on this other wall as well?
The mural on the other wall is just straightforward, sort of just one style. Sort of, there's a bit of style to it, graffiti shapes and stuff. It's actually quite a London style, believe it or not, that was formed around about 86, 87.
Yeah.
That style that I use there to this day for just writing legible graffiti.
That's what we talked about, making it.
It's got to be legible. It's got to, people, most people that will come in will not understand anything about graffiti. Whereas, so you put a wee style in there like that. What I could do to that is stick mad bits, arrows, this, that, everything coming off it,
Stick mad bits.
Wild style general here, it would just be crazy, and you wouldn't understand that.
Which I actually, I really wanted something like that, but it was trying to get a bit of middle ground.
Trying to get,
Because I mean, there must be like a business side to something as like expressive as graffiti as well, because like you were talking about just before we started, like there has to be an element of accessibility or relatability to it, and if it is too much of, because I understand this being a creative as well,
I think
like
you
if there's
get
too
to a
much
certain
of
age with graffiti, if you want to keep doing graffiti, you need to move. You need to move away from the hollows, the bombing, the tagging and things like that. You grow up.
So how did you start graffiti then? How did you start tagging? And
I started in 1984.
The George Orwell year.
That old guy. I can hear you thinking it, guys.
See that, right?
Yeah,
Big brother on that.
yeah, I was too. Early starter. But, no, it was off the back of the whole hip hop epidemic that hit the UK. I was into the breakdancing and all that as well.
B-boy.
Yes,
let's see some moves then, guys.
Yes, I did have a six-pack, by the way.
Did you have the big
No, the
clock on you
one-pack,
as well?
you know, but I did have a six-pack and everything back there in the 80s, but myself and a couple of mates formed a crew called the Glasgow City Breakers. We were Scottish champions. I was the solo Scottish champion. They very same boys, they kept going for a long time. I get quite a few injuries around about the 90s and things. I put my knee 360 and stuff like that.
But you don't, something you maybe don't really think about.
The impact of it.
Because it's like gymnastics.
I mean, they're bringing it into the Olympics now, b-boying, you know. They're in the Japanese Olympics this year.
That's amazing.
You're
going to get
I would love to be sitting there as a judge, man, you know.
Skill and athleticism attached to it.
Yeah, because it is
second to none.
The way it's kind of become now. There's some of the stuff these guys do is gymnastics. It's like rhythmic gymnastics.
All these air flares and everything they're doing now, it's all came from b-boying, you know. That's the actual real name for it, no breaking, it's b-boying, you know.
So why is it called b-boy? What's the B stand for?
It was you're breaking.
Breaking boy?
You were a breaking boy,
Break
so
bad?
I think they called it a b-boy back in New York and everything, you know. But that has got connotations that go right back to the 1900s, the turn of the century sort of thing, where it was in black clubs and these guys were just hitting the deck with these moves and things like that, and it just evolved from there. You know, it never just came out of the blue. You know, a lot of people did think it came out of the blue, but the more you studied, the more you looked into that, the more you became
it's like the music evolved and that kind of went hand in hand.
Everybody thinks, you know, everybody thinks they're coming out with something brand new, don't they? And you're like,
aye.
Did that in 84?
Sounds a wee bit Daft Punk, that. You know,
there's one band that I can put on in here that will guarantee a toe tap from Ross Park, and it's Daft Punk. Every time Daft Punk comes on,
they are good.
So were you like pro b-boying by day and out tagging trains by night then?
Aye, kind of. Aye, more or less, you know. Did that. Grew up in Penally, and it was just, you know, it was a shithole. It was an absolute shithole, the old tournaments there and things like that. Ended up staying in the tournaments there. Did the old school there that I went to as well. I did get kicked out of school
for
graffiti in the playground at night.
At least you were considering at least you weren't doing it during school time.
And consistent.
You know, I wasn't writing up fucking idiot or anything like that. You know, I was writing big Gaz Mac on was. I don't know why they didn't appreciate it.
The Big Mac.
I mean, I walked away with 1 O level and that was art.
What was it, an art?
You know, just wasn't interested, you know. Yet my art teacher, wee Fleming at the time, he really introduced me to that. Saying how I could move forward. But this is around about 83 or something like that. I was sort of dabbling in it while I was at school, you know. And he almost encouraged it. He actually got me to paint a real brick wall at the back of the class. And he says, anytime you want to do graffiti after this, because of the trouble I'd caused, he says, you can come in here and paint on that, but you need to paint with a brush. And it's all about, aye, right, okay. Boring bastard. But when you look back on that, he was a lot braver than other people were, and a lot more acceptable to it, you know.
See, now, is graffiti getting taught in schools, or is that where you're coming in with your... I know you teach a lot of youngsters and bring them...
Well, the thing is, it's getting a kid to sit down and actually paint something these days with a brush and stuff. You know, you will get that set, even so much more in private education, that they will get trained a lot better and taught the fundamentals and explained that. Whereas, you know, typical secondary schools, it's like, you know, there's a tray with 6 colours in it. And you know,
is that not evolved at all?
Look, it has evolved, and there's a lot of great teachers out there really, you know, up against it as well. I think, you know, with kids with iPads and this and every bit of technology, seeing game art and everything, they'll be pushing that, they'll be pushing environmental themes on how to use good materials and, you know, safe, ethical materials and things like that, you know. But
so is that where your project down at SWG3 comes in then? Because I know you do a lot of like community work down there.
So we started sort of I've been working in the community for years and years, man. You know, when I get caught in Penallee, you know, painting Smurfs with joints and things like that on was, and I started. They got me in to do the youth club up. After the back of the youth club, you do your mate's bedroom. Your mate tells you that cost me 100 quid. He charged me 100 quid for that, and some big guy goes, 100 quid's nothing. You end up doing more and more and more to the point you're in interior design magazines. You know, I pushed it for an individual level. I pushed it that I was involved with a lot of interior designers, and I ended up doing what the England teams, hoosies and things like that. You know,
I remember you saying that before.
One I can mention is Rio Ferdinand, the way doing big Rio's house and doing that for his kids and everything, doing all his games rooms and stuff like that. So you know, multi-million pound gaffs and things like that.
And is that what you're kind of telling these kids down at SWG3? Like you're showing them that this is a value?
You know, I went into graphic design. Quite late. I went in there about 27 or something like that. Already having Apple Mac skills. I mean, I had one of the first Macs, LC 630, and I learned Photoshop 1.
Was that with a view to progressing, obviously? But was it with that in the back of your mind? I can make a business out of this.
It kind of was. You know, I don't even know if it was that business sense in there or whether it's that wee self-drive when you as a boy, you know, it was kind of like that. You weren't thinking, hey, I'm going to make hundreds of money at that age. It was kind of,
better yourself.
I'm going to better my graph. I'm going to get one step ahead of these guys. This is the future sort of thing, you know. Not that I was saying that to anybody. It was just in there. Subsequently, I went into graphic design, but I ended up back teaching graphic design as well. That was brilliant at Cardano College. I don't know what their name is now, Cardano College, West of Scotland or something.
Maybe like West Scotland.
But I'm now pushing boys in that direction. I've got one young boy getting in there. He's actually started his first year there. I'm not saying he's graffiti name or anything like that, but he's actually there. And it's about taking these boys that really want to push their graph and getting them into design work. And what it will do is give them that sort of professional ability, understanding clients. The college teaches you so much, whereas I wouldn't say the same for the art school. I wouldn't say the same for that. It's all about self-development and things. You know, it's more about the individual and what they want to do and create themselves and express themselves. As far as industry, as far as what they're trying to create in the art school and try to introduce them to industry, they're off on by the wayside, whereas the colleges seem to be doing better in bringing them through.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so. That's my view on it anyway.
Do you go into colleges as well then? 'Cause you know you've got the community stuff going on.
It's a wee bit tougher to work with the colleges because you've got GI, you've got the government inspectors there, and they've got a curriculum that's set there, whereas schools can be a wee bit more flexible at the end of terms and things like that, and try to
bring in something different.
Curriculums, you know, they can bring that into the schools, whereas, you know, students college, end of college term, like that.
I know.
You know,
like school.
Good for you, Ross.
So you must be like a really valuable thing for institutions and for government bodies to have then, because you're like the godfather of like Glasgow graffiti. So like you
I wouldn't say that. I hate that, but at the same time, you have got a certain.
Because you were saying before as well that you can spot like we were outside and you spotted a tag on like a telephone box or something. You're like, I know who that is.
Yeah, I'm spotting tags before they put them up, mate. You know? It's just a lifestyle you get into. You're driving along, you know, and you get.
But then you must be like indispensable to people who want to do community outreach or get in touch with these
people. Get in touch with you. To help.
I do a lot of work with York Hill, Govan, Shawlands. I've just created the My Shawlands mural trail there. I live in Shawlands. I seen they were calling all creatives, you know, and it was like, I just sent an email saying, do you need a hand here, you know? I'm furloughed, do you need a hand? I could work through the charity, Clydeside Initiative for Arts, and help them out there. So it was some money for the charity. I get, in Way Shawlands, it hasn't really got what you would call a graffiti problem, you know? People call it a graffiti.
You're creating one now.
People call it a graffiti problem. I call it an amusement park. You know, so I get 8 women. I get 8 women involved this time. You know, out of 15 of them. So there was a majority of women on that. You know, couple of set designers were Luca Cosa, Jenny Booth, Jenny Bates, who's a fine artist. You know, they've sort of come through that art school way, but even adding that female element into that takes away
I can't stigmatised it almost.
That testosterone image, like Cockfest, you know, that graffiti has that image of.
Yeah.
And, you know, graffiti has, whether these purists, there's a lot of purists out there that say, I'm getting the wild styles and stuff like that, you know, and I've got a whole back history of that. I think it is time to move it and time to progress with that and start to mingle with other things. You've got to see, because of the internet, you know. I got asked a question a while back, what's the first thing you'd be telling a new graffiti writer? Somebody want to get into graffiti, and I says, don't do it to be an internet sensation. You know, you've got to do it because you love drawing. You know, you want to be something different in the art world. It's a very good way of doing that. I would say that to any illustrator. Even graphic designers. I've got a graphic designer doing a law for me right now at SWG3, because he's a good graphic designer, and he says, what's the benefits of me doing this? And I went, it will up your standing, it will overnight, but don't do it for that reason, do it for the experience first and foremost. If you get 200 hits off the back, great, mate, you know, but
don't let that drive you.
Remember what that foundation is there, you know. You know, learn your nibs and things like that, your cans, and learn your paints, learn your techniques, you know.
Fundamentals.
All the fundamentals, it's all concrete there for it, you know.
It's amazing to hear that, man, because that is something that's so important to have in any walk of life. I think is to have like the reason why, like have the why as a really like kind of personal and. There
is a whole undercurrent there at the yard, the way I've created the yard anyway, and that is getting these young guys out of danger as well. There's a lot of them that come into the scene and think can go and walk a railway track. With SWG3, I've got a paint store there. You can buy your paint there. You can store your bag there. You can store your ladders there.
That's
huge, man.
Huge.
You know, it's
Giving
an
kids that outlet, as you say, rather than running about. And
I lost my nephew on the railway lines to graffiti, you know, a few years back mode, you know, and that was tough. But it was kind of too close for me to control. Almost, you know, not to control, but to influence. You know, I'd already influenced him. And, you know, it was unfortunate, and it makes me even more determined. Don't get me wrong, I was on my backside for quite a wee bit there, you know, but it does make me more determined when I do see these new boys coming through, not to be influenced by dafties and stuff like that, you know, not to be out there when you're doing your work, getting mad with pills and drinking bulky and things like that, which there is a certain culture of.
It sounds like you're trying to instill a real discipline and like the craft of it, like a real respect for it.
I think there needs to be at it. You know, I look at young boys and they're putting the work up. They're putting a hollow on the side of a van. A hollow is a single spray paint, a single outline that looks like a bubble letter or something. Kind of what you've got in your wall there, right? But done very messily. There's no cut on it. There's no technique to it whatsoever. Anybody can do it, but he does that. Posts it on Instagram and he's getting 10 likes off his mate, and he's like, I've got something here, I'm an internet sensation. That's kind of what I'm saying there. They're doing it for all the wrong reasons. They've just hit White Van Man or something like that. It's probably self-employed and has to go and buy some petrol or whatever to get it off. It's a very good way of protecting graffiti off your bands, by the way. Petrol really works for taking it off. Okay.
You should put something together, guys.
We should put something together. Anti-graffiti
package it up.
That's it, Ross. There you go. Don't tell anybody else.
So I was never in high school. Like I was never good at mentioning, because I remember being in high school and mentioning jotters and stuff and tagging jotters. So can you tag my iPad for me?
Of course I can, mate. I was that wee guy in school. You know, you lift the desk up and there was this
just
mural
like graffiti
outside. You know, that was
my
my English class.
So is there a kind of like?
Oh, sorry.
That was outstanding. It's DA.
Let me try it a couple of times here. Let me just.
So where do you?
That's a big nib.
Where would you begin with something like that? Like how do you start? Because I couldn't draw anything like that.
That's cool, man.
Get the wee graffiti start.
Put your 2 fingers on it, man, and pull it. Make it smaller. There you go. Give you more room.
Just wee Dan tag.
That's it. That's now my signature. Is that a wee bird on the top of it? Like a wee fat goose?
It's a kind of wee graffiti star that came out. It was a wee style for New York. Wait till I get a different size of nib here for you, right? It was a wee graffiti style star, and it's all right the way through graffiti for years. But it kind of it's a look like that. That's really bad, right? But and you just do that.
Right.
And a lot of guys will put that instead of the I above their letter I and stuff like that. Or you'll see a lot of things. For example, Smug that you see. Or Dane, all these beautiful big pieces around the city centre, but he's got the wee halo around the top and stuff like that as well, And the halo that can even come through the donut ring inside the spray can.
Paint,
the coloured ring?
So
that's kind of where that comes from.
Cool.
I've seen them use that and turn it into that even, The halo originally came from Stay High 149, who was a well-known graffiti writer. He was one of the legends of New York, All City. Stay High 149, and it was a wee Saint character. You remember the Saint?
Yeah.
And he had a wee halo above him. And that's where
You've done a bit out there as well, Gaz. Have you not got to Miami?
I've done. I was at Miami and Wynwood Walls. If you ever go that way,
your face is on a building as well.
There's no mention.
In Amsterdam.
I'll put it up somewhere.
Smug done that for me.
That's unbelievable, mate.
I don't know why the two years don't go on or anything like that.
So you went and stood in the balcony, like round about your face or something?
I was saying that I would love to get to the balcony and come out my ear.
A
wee hammer or something like that. I don't know, man. But no, I'm pretty proud of that. Honoured even.
For sure, man. It's a massive.
But Smug has done quite a few of the boys. I know he's been photographing other Glasgow artists and got to put them up somewhere in other jobs. I mean, his skills are just
unreal.
Next level. His ability to be a spray can. He's got a studio at SWG3, There's quite a few of them in there. New guy that you might know, I heard of Mark Wurst. Mark's been sort of working up beside me for all the years. He's been at SWG3 since he was 13, alongside my son. And he's 30 years of age now and absolutely dynamite.
Are you getting a gallery set up, am I right in saying?
Yep, I'm opening a new gallery on the 26th of May.
Down at the yard,
it's in one of the railway arts. The first railway arts were across for the first gate sort of thing,
cool.
And it's going to be called Yard Life.
So just off the back of that then, just to wrap up, because we're reaching our time here, tell us about what you've got coming up and how the guys can get in touch with you, and have you got an Instagram?
Outside of the gallery, I've got an Instagram, Yardbirds Glasgow. Follow that. Gaz Mac SWG3. You'll find info in there for myself, or it might just be a load of nonsense written in it. or you might find I've got a tag in your gable end or something. And you might be after me. I don't know. But there is lots of exciting things. We've just built the gallery over lockdown. It was funding we had from the last Yardbirds, but we got to do with that. Let's put it in a gallery then. So we've built that.
And is that going to be open to the public in May?
That's taking graffiti again to the next level, isn't it? Opening something like that, because it's not something
absolutely, because it means these guys, they come, they do a big piece in the wall, and somebody, at the moment we've got the outdoor garden and everything, Ronnie's there. Somebody likes that piece, they walk across the road and they can buy a piece of that person's work. Wow. And for cheap. It's not one of these contemporary galleries, don't think it that way. It's not going to be, all smoke and mirrors, you buy the pieces a red dot beside it for a month or anything like that. It's coming right off a ball and you're getting it away with you and things like that. It should be cheap enough artwork, There will be original Smugs, James Klinger, Mark Wurst and these guys, hopefully Rogue and stuff. There will be these guys starting to feed in work to our time, But we want to try and keep that as low as possible. There will be print racks there that you can do, and believe me, some of the work the girls are doing as well. Molly Hankinson, Little Book Transfers, Cobalt Collective, all these people are doing fantastic work, and they're going to be releasing a lot of print stays. And
excellent.
They look
when's that looking at opening then, Gaz?
The 26th of May that opens. That's my opening night. Obviously. The size of the gallery as well, I think we're allowed 2 people in at a time. But I've got a big gate there and we'll just open that up and you can go and have drinks in there. So you're more than welcome to come down at the 26th. I'll be see you too anyway. If you know there'll be a big Bellline tag on your front shutter here.
I'm never getting away for that now.
You're not Dan. Sorry, but you're not.
And if there's any young aspiring writers out there, graffiti writers, how would they get in touch with you? What's the best way of them?
Just get in touch with us through SWG3, through Yardbirds, through my Instagram. That's it's very easy. I'm quite open. As I say, I've taken on 3 new guys just lately, just try to show them the ropes.
Brilliant.
Kind of like you do yourself, you just bring somebody in and you nurture them up for a while, and then before you know it, they're away running, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you did with me. Like, you trained me to be a trainer here, and now I'm running your podcast.
Charging them a fortune.
I'm trying to, guys, I'm trying.
Do we need to talk about this?
Maybe after. Well, guys, man, it's been class having you down. Really appreciate it.
Lovely to see you guys.
And also, thank you for everything you're doing within the community and for all these young aspiring artists as well, man. We need more people like you for sure. But brilliant. We'll see you soon. We'll see you on May 26th. Check it out. Gaz's Gallery. Gallery Gaz.
Brilliant, mate.
Well done, man.
Good stuff.